everybody, welcome back to Sweatpant Garage. Dead Bod Garage, the V8 Jeep channel. I'm Scrib, and today we are in, once again, my 2002 Jeep Grand Cherokee WJ Overland. As you see, we're inside the vehicle today. I've got this thing stripped down to a point that's got me a little bit uncomfortable, but that's where we're at. The goal today is one of a couple different things. As you know, a couple episodes back, we had a fire. So that required us to pull the dash and evaluate the interior situation. I'll tell you what, get a little bit of plastic burning. In about 2 minutes, you might lose your whole vehicle. So some quick thinking. Thankfully, the attempted use of a couple different fire extinguishers, the second of which finally worked, got us to where I still have a Jeep here to do videos about. What we're doing today at this point is I've been stripping this thing down off camera good part of yesterday all day long and cleaning and wiping it all out. Between 20 some years of people driving this thing for 170 some thousand miles, fire extinguisher powder, and just normal wear and tear. This thing's got some dust and dirt and grime, and we had to get it all cleaned up because we're going to be installing some Dynamat. We are going to be getting quite liberal with the Dynamat. At this point with the dash out, I intend to put a considerable coating on most of the inside of the firewall. There's going to be some on the outside of the firewall in the engine compartment, and the whole entire floor of the vehicle we are going to coat with Dynamat as well, anywhere that it doesn't intrude with anything. I want this unit as quiet as possible, as I've mentioned in the past. We want everything to be real cushy and comfortable on the inside, business under the hood, and you know, something that's a pleasure to drive internally. We drive this great distances, we do a lot of off-roading with it, and I guess if we're softies because we like the Grand Cherokee station wagon as opposed to a Wrangler with the doors off, then so be it. I like creature comforts and air conditioning and heat. I like to be sealed away from the outdoors when the bugs come. So that's how we roll. So at this point, we're going to be measuring and cutting and laying some pieces of Dynamat out here, covering the dash up, or the inside of the dash, and then going through the floor. So we're going to document some of that process. I've never used Dynamat before. I used a small little portion on the inside tunnel here, or whatever you want to call it, the recess in the firewall in the rear of the engine compartment. Put a little down for a test run. That worked out pretty well. So we're going to start laying it down in here. So as you're going to see here, there's all kinds of items that poke out, stick out, studs that a lot of things attach to, the dash, different HVAC components, and the pedal assembly. Taking the pedals out made me a little bit nervous, especially on this one has electronic adjustable pedals. So we had to take this unit out of there. Several wires and connectors and so on that go to this guy. It's kind of flimsy when it's unbolted, and I know from my days at the Chrysler dealership that those parts aren't available and haven't been for a long time. So got to be really careful with it. You got quite a bit of cluster junk here with a wiring harness. I've still got to evaluate the harness over here where things got a little hot. Originally I thought it was done for, and the closer I've gotten to looking at it, I don't think it actually melted through any of the wires, more just the wrap that was around them. Got a little recesses right here for strengthening on these corners, probably keeps it from doing the pop can thing. What we mean by that is, you know, clinking like a tin can anytime the vehicle flexes or twists at all. And there's all kinds of little studs that we have right here and here and here and almost infinitely all over the place that, yeah, we poked some holes with the mat and stick it over it. Some of this might make things a little bit tight when it comes down to putting everything back together, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. I had a large insulated cover that went over here that is going to go right back on. I've got that right over here sitting on the carpet, and I got to wipe her all down because she definitely has some fire extinguisher material on it, but that's all going to go back in. I do have a donor Jeep that we're going to be using to put a new HVAC box in here and some of the dash components that melted. Luckily the main dash, which is kind of specific, this color is specific to the Overland, that didn't really melt, or there's no evidence on the outside of it. It's just on the inside, more in the HVAC box, which is separable from the dash anyways. So we're going to start getting some of these spots done here. Some places we might just put some small layers. I've watched a lot of videos. I'm definitely not the install expert. As you'll see with most of my videos, we're learning as we go along type of a deal. So we're going to get at it, get some pieces cut out here, and see what we can come up with. Bear with me. So on my little trial run with the Dynamat, one thing I did was I just got a Sharpie marker, pair of scissors, and eyeballed it. 99% of this is going to be covered up. You're never going to see it. So other than getting as much coverage as possible, there's no reason that it absolutely has to be perfect. I like to make things as close and nice as it can be, but some of this is just going to be a matter of holding it up there, seeing where you got to be, making some marks. We're going for this section right here first. That's pretty well flat and smooth. It'll be one of the first spots we do. And then just as simple as, really, we can tell that we got to go up to this edge. A little difficult to hold. See the bump right there. Therefore we know we got to go this way. And then I could just use something like a straight edge. In my case, we're getting so scientific. Something that's fairly straight here, our Christmas tree removal tool. We're just going to make a line on here, and that's that. We're going to cut it out. Really scientific. I thought about getting out the micrometer and some tape measures. Honestly, tape measure may get used at some point in time while we're doing this, but at this point we're eyeballing it. Quite a few of the videos that I've watched about installing the Dynamat make the point pretty clear that even just chunks of it, you know, or section of it on a flat panel does a lot to quiet things down. The Dynamat's not only a sound deadener, but it's also a vibration damper. So any panels and stuff you have that might be rattly, or any vibration that carries through the body of the vehicle, this will help dampen a lot of that down. This is like an aluminum foil, like a real thick, heavy aluminum foil on the top. Kind of hard to see, but that's what you got there. And it's a real thick layer of butyl. If you don't know what that is, Google it. B-U-T-Y-L. And it's very, very sticky. It's basically like a black tar gummy substance that manufacturers use in automobiles already for that type of a situation. Back peels off real nicely. And then we're just going to go along here and stick it on. It does bend and conform to things very well. I definitely found that. It's not difficult to work with at all. And then we've got a little roller thing we're going to use that I didn't bring with me here. So we're going to grab that and come right back and smooth it out. All right, so we've got our roller here. Have you take a look at that. I ordered this off Chinazon for like $6. I don't think I realized I was getting the one that was ribbed. Not sure if that's the preference. I do know if you have any that's going to be showing, it does leave those marks in there. They do have smooth roller ones, but in my case, this is what I have. I'm not going to buy another one, and all of this is going to be hidden, so if it has little lines in it, so be it. So starting out with the bottom here, just kind of like when you put on stickers or any kind of decals, and going to just roll that on there flat and get all the bubbles and everything out of it, and just going to slowly move up. And if you follow a line, kind of just like when you're putting down decals and stickers, you always want to start on one side or one corner and slowly work your way towards where you're going. That helps you not get air bubbles or wrinkles. Gives you a little chance, if you do get a little wrinkle and some things, you can peel it back a little bit, get it out with your fingertip and smooth it down. If it's something like this that's not going to be visual or something you can't see, if you did get a bubble, you can take a razor blade, poke a hole in the middle of the bubble, roll it smooth, the air comes out, and move on with life. And that's the idea of what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to start cutting out a bunch of pieces. We're going to put it along here. Am I doing overkill? Probably. But if you know anything about me, that's not uncommon. Some things we're going to have to work around is a lot of this seam sealer or rubberized coating that they put on there. You know why they put that there? Same exact reason we're putting this down. Just in the center of this flat panel, taking a blob of this and putting a fairly thick layer on there helps stop that from vibrating and dampens a lot of noise. I'm not going to peel this all off. I know some people go and do that. Again, you're not going to see this. So this is a matter of function over form, and it's all going to be hidden. So if it's a little wrinkly underneath here, I'm going to smash it down as tight up against there so it's not just bubbling out or anything, but we're going to go right over top of that stuff. There we go. There's that piece. So we're going to cut out one more here, go up into there, and move on further down. One thing to keep in mind here that you haven't seen that I didn't do on camera or anything is I have cleaned and cleaned and cleaned the heck out of this thing. In my case, I've used some lint-free towels and some Purple Power. The Purple Power has cleaned up more stuff than you can imagine. One thing you want to be careful is I know that every time I've wiped with a little bit of this, my towels are got a little bit of reddish to them. So it does take some paint. I don't know how the paint's done inside the vehicle as opposed to the outside, but it's pretty aggressive. So you might want to water it down or use a different type of cleaner. Don't ask me. This is what I have. This is what I'm using. And it's done a pretty good job. It's a lot of work wiping all the cracks and crevices, vacuuming every little speck of dust and hair out of here after 20 years. But that's why we saved you that and didn't put that on camera. All right, well, we've got that first section done a little bit here. So there we go. There's the handiwork. That's just going along the top, very, very top of the dash area. Actually, on the inside of here is where the cowl is, and the empty space where the wiper transmission and everything is from the outside. But anywhere that noise can echo or reflect inside here, we want to block. I want to hear this thing through the windows. I don't want to feel it in my butt, and I don't want it rattling my teeth all day long. Don't think that's going to be an issue with the LSX, but it's got a pretty rowdy cam, so there's going to be some compromises. But this section's done, so we're going to start moving down here. If you see some of this ugliness I've got going on there, I POR 50'd anywhere that any kind of paint was exposed after the fire. There was a couple spots here. Right here is actually where my Holley wiring harness comes through from the back of the motor, and I housed the PCM for the Terminator X-Max here inside the storage area of the center console. You'll see all that later on, but that's what we've got going on there. And can't really see it here, but down in the driver's footwell area, of course, the most used spot in the vehicle, there's obviously been some wet feet in there, and there was some little bit of rusty spots and so on. So we cleaned that all up, put the POR 50 to work, let that dry a couple days, and this is actually the POR 50 sealant. That's the seam sealer. I'll tell you guys what too, POR 50 so far seems to work really well, but my God, wear a mask and have some ventilation, because it is some toxic, terrible smelling stuff. But usually something that works worth the crap is usually pretty strong.